Every journey starts with a story, something that sparks an interest and desire to delve deeper, something that makes you question the past presented to you. It takes what you know and flips it on its head to beg the question, what is really out there? Luckily for us, South Africa is full of such stories. And this is ours.
So why Mikey's Fontaine?
Well, when we decided to do the documentary, we were doing a lot of research into a whole lot of locations, and we came across Mikey's Fontaine, this little town in the Karoo. It was such a small little town, but with so many stories, that we knew we could come here and shoot for as long as we wanted, and we'd get something. We'd get a good story from somewhere. It has a lot to offer in a small space.
It just has this vast history behind it. It started out as literally a tin shack next to a railway, and then James Douglas Logan built it up, and then it became a medical encampment during the Second Anglo-Boer War.
During our journey, we travelled to several locations across South Africa, each with a colourful history and stories that intrigued us. On our travels, we met and spoke with many interesting people, each with their own tales to tell. However, we were always drawn back to one place.
We entered the Lord Milner Hotel shortly after our arrival in Mikey'sfontein, the hotel being the crowning jewel of this small Karoo town. The Lord Milner Hotel has for a majority been the hub and setting for many of the events that have occurred throughout the town's past, and is a vision of awesome preservation and aged elegance that represents Mikey'sfontein and what the small town stands for.
After checking in, we stopped to meet with Werner Smit, the general manager of the Lord Milner Hotel, and unofficial mayor of Mikey'sfontein, if you will.
My name is Werner Smit. I am the current general manager of the Lord Milner Hotel and also the whole of Mikey'sfontein as a small town.
At first glance, Mikey'sfontein is an unassuming small town that hasn't been touched by the hustle and bustle of modern-day life.
Well, Mikey'sfontein obviously was found back in the day in 1884 by Mr. Logan. It used to be a place obviously built mainly for being a spa for an hotel. It became the headquarters in the British during the Anglo-Boer War for the British. Just to sum it up, a lot of things happened there as well. And obviously later it became, I think many years later, it became in 1975 a World Heritage Site, which is quite important for us as well. And today is mostly just managed as a hotel, a typical Karoo destination. We have guests from all over the world here. People coming to visit want to experience the typical step back in town. So at the moment the village is doing well. Everything great. I think the most important point is the Anglo-Boer War. This is where Mikey'sfontein was shaped. There was a field hospital. There's a lot of things that happened during the Anglo-Boer War, especially around Mikey'sfontein, which we'll obviously give a little more info about. But I think that during that time that shaped the whole Mikey'sfontein, especially during the Anglo-Boer War.
Mikey'sfontein holds a rich history which includes being a health spa, the British Cape Command during the Second Anglo-Boer War, refuge for the Jameson raid reformers, the venue for the controversial war crime hearings, and the first international cricket venue between South Africa and England.
The land was but a mere stop on the train ride from Cape Town. That was until James Douglas Logan, a determined Scotsman, found himself in Mikey'sfontein and saw potential in the peaceful, clean landscape.
In 1899, James Logan built the Milner Hotel as a military hospital for the British troops during the South African War. During this time, Olive Schreiner, the author of Story of an African Farm, wrote the aforementioned in Mikey'sfontein and lived in the village.
Other famous guests of Logan's included Queen Victoria, who at the time was the Princess of England, the son of Winston Churchill, renowned author Rudyard Kipling, and several influential political members, which aided Logan in gaining his superior status in South Africa and England. Post-war, Matjiesfontein was the venue for the controversial war crime hearings with regards to those to be considered traitors to the crown, the people from the Cape Colony who helped the Boers during the war against the British. The old courthouse still stands there as a memory of that shadowed past. The prisoners did not always have far to travel, as Matjiesfontein's jailhouse was a mere 50 meters down the road.
We decided to take a walk around Matjiesfontein and explore the town, visiting the numerous locations that would be the subject of our investigations.
After exploring the town, we ran into one of the many notable characters within Matjiesfontein, Johnny, the tour guide and entertainer within the town. Despite having already explored on foot, Johnny convinced us to join him on a bus tour around Matjiesfontein.
Yay!
I love it when you talk foreign. At the foot of the mountain on your right-hand side was a training camp of the British. 10,000 British soldiers. Go ahead. I don't know how much of your other body parts work. Go and have a look tomorrow. The red fire engine, we only water the garden. That first house with the red and white stripe was the old servant quarters of the Logan family. Sure but slowly. Slowly but surely, we take the old dust road.
Well, I was born and bred here, and I am the entertainer here and the guide.
What other history do you know of Matjiesfontein?
Well, it was built as a hospital, 1899 in the Boer War,
Yeah.
and for 10,000 British soldiers
And
camping at the feet of that mountain. You know, the man who took it over was 1968 from the Logan family, Mr. Dave Roden. He renovated,
okay.
and then from 2012, a lady called Liz McGrath helped with the renovation and do the whole thing. And from there, people come.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah?
And do you believe that Matjiesfontein is haunted?
Oh, yes.
Throughout our interview with Johnny, it was revealed that there is an underlying hidden history in Matjiesfontein. A history of the paranormal.
Oh, yes, the ghost town. With Katie and Lucy and all of China. When your hair race and you got butterflies, that's Lucy. She tinkles something. It's a ghost town. Thank you.
It's the feeling you get when you drive in. I mean, when we decided on Matjiesfontein, I'd never been here before, I'd never heard of it before. We started researching, and you drive in expecting some small little town in the middle of nowhere, but you drive in and you're preserved in time. You are stuck in the 1800s. Everything is the way it was. And you just get this overwhelming sense of the energies here and the history. It's pure history incarnate.
Well, one of the main focuses that we have in this is that we don't want to outright say, oh, this is haunted, or oh no, this is completely debunked, this isn't real. What we want to do is we want the audience to judge for themselves based on what we find. This place could in fact be haunted, and beyond that we also have a primary focus on the history. We aren't going to go to some random shack and try and investigate there because there isn't really history there. Whereas at a location like Matjiesfontein, for example, there's just this vast history behind it, and that is what draws us in.
Along our journey, we had found several people with vastly different backgrounds and stories. However, there was one question that always seemed to have a common answer.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Oh, yes.
I think if one opens yourself up for it, you'll definitely experience paranormal activity, and you'll definitely, if you want to see something, then you probably will see a figure. I myself don't open myself too much for it. I have had experiences in my life before. I'm not going to say if it's here or elsewhere, but yeah, I would say if you open yourself up for it, I think one can definitely get carried away with it.
I saw one day the ghost coming down from the stairs, the red stairs, but she was friendly, and I didn't even get scared. So that's strange for me.
One can either believe it or you can ignore it.
Some of the stories that really intrigued me were definitely Katie's card room. Katie was a nurse during the Second Anglo-Boer War, and she used to play cards with all of her patients. No one really knows how she died, but to this day people hear her playing cards upstairs and walking around in her card room. They sometimes see her walking down the stairs of the hotel itself.
Katie, she was a nurse here, and Lucy was also a nurse in this hospital.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why they used to stay in that card room upstairs. You know, when you go up, that say Katie's card room.
Yeah.
She play card there.
Okay.
When they're off duty.
Okay, and she used to play cards with her patients and all of that. Okay.
And that's why she still walk up and down here.
But this most recently, my specific stories that recently happened is we had one of our security guards who encountered a woman and a little daughter at night in the hotel. I know that story very well. There's a couple of others, but I think that specific story triggered me most because everything was described so much in detail by my security officer. And that's also the reason why he's not working. He doesn't do any night shifts anymore, only doing day shifts. I think just the detail around the story it wasn't very vague. It was very detailed. I think that quite stood out to me, and it made me wonder. Yeah.
You see that big yellow lounge in the back?
Yeah.
That was actually the house of Milner.
Okay.
Lord Milner was governor of the Cape.
Okay.
Now that lady walked was there, and it's Olaf Scheiner.
Okay.
She was that famous book writer.
Yeah.
So she died. She stayed here in this little house next to the post office, and she walked in that house.
In light of our newfound evidence, we decided to further investigate the paranormal claims surrounding Matjiesfontein.
It's never been something that Neil and I discussed, like there's a specific process, but for me specifically, it's when you get a hit, whether it's the EMF reader or you see something go across your screen or you hear something, you immediately want to look for the source of it. So if you heard it in the corner of the room, you're going to go over there. You're going to go towards it and look around for things that could explain it.
Yeah, a lot of the time we just have to fact check. We have to read into who was here in the past, where did they live, what did they do, how did they die.
I'd say the process is really try and locate where the sound came from or where the evidence came from and look at every possible option. Try and think outside of the box of what it could be, test it, and if you get no proof that it was something normal, then I think you can consider it evidence.
After finding out this information, we decided to investigate these stories of the paranormal and see for ourselves what we could find.
We first came to Matjiesfontein with a two-person crew. Throughout our investigations, we found compelling evidence that drove us to return with a larger crew to better capture our investigations.
In our investigations, we use a multitude of equipment in order to aid us. We use infrared cameras. Our infrared cams are designed to pick up infrared light which is undetectable to the naked eye.
The SB7 spirit box rapidly screens through radio frequencies, which spirits are believed to communicate through. The Faraday pouch ensures that we don't capture radio stations which might interfere with any evidence captured.
EVP stands for electronic voice phenomenon, and our highly sensitive microphones in our recorder help us in potentially capturing such phenomena.
The laser grid projects a grid form against any surface which, if interrupted, can be considered as paranormal evidence.
We used the spirit box to communicate with Katie and found curious responses to our questions. We believe to have made contact with Katie that night.
Hi Katie, we heard that you like to play cards, so I thought we should invite you to play a game of cards with us. We're going to move on to the other room quickly. Please help yourself to the cards. All just moved. So, Katie, you were a nurse during the Second Anglo-Boer War. Can you tell us what happened, what you went through during that time?
It is extremely cold on my hand. Katie, is that you that's touching my hand right now?
Katie, are you moving the cards? Oof.
I don't know whether we should put something against the door in case it might be the wind. I also don't want to. I don't want to make Katie feel like we're blocking her path.
Katie, is that you? I did invite her.
Upon leaving the room, our night vision camera captured several light anomalies and unexplained sounds, followed shortly by the sound our camera makes when its battery is being drained.
Hi Katie, so we have another device for you to communicate
With us?
with us.
With another.
You know, we've sort of been exclusively what?
This camera just shuts itself off.
Katie did Katie did Katie did Katie did Katie, did you shut our camera off?
The battery just died.
What?
It was on 50% and it just died.
Katie, did you shut our camera off?
In Katie's card room, our equipment malfunctioned and both of our infrared cameras shut off unexpectedly.
Thermometer. After the first night's investigation, we were exhausted and sleep deprived. However, our findings throughout the previous night were more than enough reason to keep us excited and energized. We decided to head to breakfast and discuss some of our experiences before starting a new day of shooting and exploring the town.
Thrilled by the evidence we'd captured in Katie's card room, we jumped at the chance to investigate the Marie Rawdon Museum, one of the largest privately owned museums in South Africa. The museum holds a vast array of historical objects, which can be considered to be spiritual conductors and trigger objects, which are believed to increase the levels of spiritual activity. Beyond the parapsychological theories, people have reported a feeling of unease in the lower levels of the museum.
Well, we're in the middle of setting up over here and we are hearing footsteps.
In the museum, we heard disembodied footsteps throughout the building.
Is anyone there?
Hello?
Hello?
Who's in here with us?
Bone chop. I'm in the museum alone now. I'm going to be doing a solo thing downstairs. This is probably the creepiest room in the whole of Matjiesfontein.
In the basement, I experienced an unseen force and the equipment captured a disembodied female voice humming or singing.
Is there anyone down here with me? Just like to report it's getting difficult to breathe down here. Just don't know why. What the was that? What was that? Why is there a noise? The EVP just turned itself on. I would like to just say I put it in its pouch. There was no way for me to turn it on. I turned it off entirely and it turned itself on. Who's here? Now we're shooting down here. Down the very, very dark corridor. What the? Okay, no. Not happy right now. Ending session. I'm bailing. I just got the worst chills. Hello? Light. Cool. Done. Moving out. I'm out. I'm out.
So when Neil was investigating the dolls room in the museum, I came outside and because I didn't want to make any extra noise while he was filming in there, so I came outside and sat right here. It was about 1 in the morning, and it was absolutely pitch dark. I mean, these lights were on, but the railway track and the houses, everything was in darkness. So I was sitting here, and suddenly the dogs in the neighboring houses went absolutely berserk, like more berserk than usual, and I got a little paranoid that maybe someone was coming up on me. So I sort of put up my hands, block out the light, and have a look around, and there was no one as far as I could see, but I could hear the stones on the railway crunching like someone was walking on them, and the only source of light on that side of the train tracks was coming from behind that tree over there. So I kept looking around trying to see if I could see anyone, and all of a sudden, in that light behind the tree, I saw a figure walk past. And initially, I thought maybe I was hyping it up too much in my mind, that maybe someone was just on their way home really late. Until our last day here, when we were told numerous stories of people that live across the train tracks who have seen things, heard things, felt things, and it sort of just solidified it in my mind that I probably had a little paranormal experience of my own while I was sitting out here.
Okay, we were wondering if tonight it would be possible for us to do Katie's card room in a dining room.
Okay, that's fine. I'll just let my security know about as well. But also just mention to receptionist so they know.
On our first night back in Matjiesfontein, we were joined by our editor, Megan, who helped us investigate Katie's card room.
So I think what we'll do, I think this time I want to actually do some statics in there and down there as well. And we'll leave statics there, like 20 minutes that side, 20 minutes that side, and then we'll investigate in here again.
Okay. First mark.
Yeah.
I like that idea. You guys need to smoke more.
When we entered Katie's card room, we noticed the window rattling and used the screwdriver as a temporary solution to combat audio contamination.
Basically what I'm doing now is just doing a sweep to check for electromagnetic frequencies, which are basically one of the believed sources of spiritual activity. It's not crazy. There was just a random spike. Katie, if you touch this little thing in my hand, it will tell us whether you're here or not. It's the first time this thing has had like any awesome results.
Katie, do you want to try a game of yes or no where you can spike the EMF for yes or just not spike it for no? Okay, well, seeing as I'm going to take that as a yes, maybe Neil would like to ask you a question, a yes or no question.
Katie, are you happy to see us again? No, just adjust it a little bit.
Okay, she seems to have gone quiet.
Maybe she just moved on to a different spot.
I did just hear like a bump behind you. Like in that room.
No.
Katie?
We're super excited. We were doing a routine EMF sweep just around, and we started getting major spikes over here by this door, and seemed to be communicating with Katie for a little while, and she seems to be quite active down this passage, so we're going to get the night vision camera and hopefully try and communicate with her some more. 15.2.
Love?
Yeah?
You might want to take a look at the screwdriver.
It's 9 degrees in there. What the hell?
Like, the screwdriver, that's not normal.
Okay, I'm just doing a temperature sweep so we can measure fluctuations either in heat or cold that paranormal activity might be affecting.
When a sudden drastic drop in temperature occurs, this is known as a cold spot and is often an indication that a spirit is manifesting.
Okay, so the general temperature seems to be between about 14.7 and 15 degrees. I'm just sticking my hand in there and measuring the general. Okay, it's gone up, but it's 11.9. So that's quite a vast difference.
Okay, but basically, I'm just going to be going in there with the night vision kit and seeing if I can interact with Katie, who seems to be rather talkative tonight.
Hi, Katie. Are you in here? Katie, if you're in here, I'd love for you to give me a sign.
I'm measuring, once again, the general temperature in here, just to get a baseline reading. I'm going to measure down there because I know there are no window panes out in there. And we'll get a general reading of the entirety of Katie's condo. 15.3.
Katie? What was that?
9.8. As you can see, we're getting closer to the window, so naturally it's going to get colder. Or not. 13.6. 7.4.
Katie? Ow.
7.4. It's fluctuating like crazy in here. 8.1. It's getting hotter now.
The last time we were here, both of those cameras, despite being on charge for more than 24 hours, ended up being drained of their batteries within what, not even an hour?
Yeah.
About an hour.
Hour and 10 minutes.
And Megan, who is helping us film this time, is using just our normal digital camera just to document what we're doing. And we've never used this camera in here before, but Megan has just found out that the camera turned itself off, which is
fun.
Yeah, a little bit of a coincidence. Well, it's not really a coincidence. It sort of signifies that we were right about what happened last time, that someone or something was trying to draw energy from our cameras. And as Megan and I were coming back, we heard some footsteps behind us. So we're going to go check out what's happening in there.
Hi, Katie. You're about to see a grid form in here. If you'd like to, could you please just interrupt the pattern for us to show us that you're here?
I want to do another thermal.
Thermal reading, okay.
So, right in the doorway. 13.7. That's right in the doorway between this room and that room.
6.6. Not a good number.
6.5.
It's going down again at 6.3.
It's dropping. The weird thing is we're getting closer and closer to the geyser.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to put this here so that I'm not interfering with it. Okay. EVP 1, Katie's card room, Mikey's Fontaine. Just to note that there is a bat that's occasionally squeaking.
Okay, so who's in here with us?
We were hearing footsteps earlier down this runway and we were wondering who was responsible for it.
Noise down there.
Okay.
In the main room.
We're hearing noises in the main room, so I am picking up the EVP and we are going to walk through to the main room.
Katie, are you in here?
Okay, I just saw a light anomaly on Megan's camera, but also when we walked into this room we had 100 and what?
15.
We had 115 minutes on the camera. We haven't been in here that long and it's down to 70 minutes. So something is messing with our equipment again.
Potatoes at 50% battery already.
Okay, so all of our equipment seems to be draining.
4K is still 100%.
That's crazy.
Hi Katie, it's me again. I noticed that you were quite eager to talk to us earlier on the EMF. Are you here?
No!
Would just like to say that the screwdriver has dislodged itself from the window pane.
But look how far it's come from where it was. It was here.
Yeah. Katie, are you unhappy with the fact that we are here?
Okay, love, how do you feel about doing a solo session in here? Because I'm having a feeling, seeing as she seems to be reacting really
To
well
you.
to you, she's used to male patients.
How long do you want to be left up there?
You can leave me for 10 minutes.
Okay.
That's good with me.
Okay.
Hi Katie. So it's just the two of us now. Alright, so I think first order of business for us, Katie, is we would like to have a conversation. With that, Katie, are you here? Katie, this device in my hand will allow you to communicate with us. Placed EVP down. Katie, are you in here? Katie? Are you trying to communicate with us? Katie, are you happy that we're here? I think I heard I am through the spirit box. What was it like here in Maatjiesfontein during the Second Anglo-Boer War? Did you say that it was fine? Katie, are you happy that we're here? You're well loved by the people of Maatjiesfontein. Is that you, Katie? I think she giggled. Katie, would you like us to leave? Yes. Have we overstayed our welcome? All right. Katie, with that, we will accept your wishes and be on our way. Okay, camera's still rolling, LED light is on. Just wanted to point that out.
After breakfast and a few annoyingly arty shots Neil insisted on taking, our producer arrived in Maatjiesfontein.
Yo, yo.
How's everyone doing?
That's all good. Tired, haggard.
How was the first night? Oh my god. We have a lot to pull you in on.
Once RJ arrived in Maatjiesfontein, we filled him in about the previous night's investigation and the evidence we had captured.
After we discussed the previous night and the procedure for our shoot with RJ, we headed out to revisit the museum.
Myself tonight, I'm telling you now.
Yes, you are.
There.
What is our plan of action? Where are we going to investigate first?
Okay, well...
Wait.
Shh.
Do we want to leave a static cam in that front room with footsteps? Or?
Yeah, maybe. I think that'll be a good idea. Okay. Then I'll just leave this as it is. Not just around. Nothing. Oop. There seems to be a little spike over here.
When it spikes, start putting it towards objects, because those objects could be holding
Energy.
Oh, yes.
Over here we have a 4.1. No, it's gone back to normal. Which is odd.
Taking baseline.
The stress is full of energy.
Okay, 14.9. $13.8. Wow. The temperature literally jumped an entire degree between that back room and this front room. Cold spot.
Oh, guys, we already called that.
Okay.
Whereabouts are you feeling it? It's measuring 15.1. Oh, guys, did you hear that?
What?
That sounded like a woman's voice going like, oh. RJ, when you get about here, just measure, because it went from like...
What was that?
There's something here.
What's it reading?
It's gone, it spiked and then it left.
Well, there's definitely like a cold spot as you come through this door.
You're spiking.
You're spiking right here in this doorway.
Yeah.
Literally in the doorway.
And that's when I said to you, when we came back from getting the thermometer, it spiked, it went from 14.5 or 3 to 13.
13.4.
Yeah.
Again?
So here, 14.
Yeah, it's a whole degree colder.
Here, 13.
No, please tell me you did that, Devin.
No, I heard that.
No, I'm talking about blowing on my hand.
No.
Please tell me you did that. No, something blew on my
Did you
hand.
guys hear that?
And the baseline in this room has changed dramatically.
What is it?
12 all the way around.
What?
Yeah?
It's changed to 12 all the way around this room.
It's dropped 2 degrees.
It dropped a full 2 degrees.
Yeah, this whole room was measuring between
This whole
15
room
and
is now
14,
12.
and now it's 12.
I felt that too when I was walking there. It's getting really cold.
Okay, so let's move the... Wait, there it was again. Just before you said okay.
I'm hearing something as well.
That was like a rumbling.
No, I'm sorry.
We had a spike of 0.6.
There's something here.
And love, the highest we've had is like half of 0.1.
It's in here, guys.
It's in here.
Court dress worn by Honourable James Logan and Miss Gertrude Logan at the coronation of King Edward, June 1902.
15.2. We're up to a 15 now.
What is?
It's here.
Yeah. Where we can see as much of the room as possible and a bit of that doorway if we can.
No.
You might need to put it like literally like almost in the door.
Now, let's start out with DVP. I also just want to get the 4K and all that ready.
As you pass it.
As I pass it again. And it's off.
It's off.
It was off. I unplugged.
Okay. It turned on.
Once again, the music.
Should we try the yes or no thing again?
Thing is, this isn't even in.
Is someone there?
If you can interact with this thing, beep it for yes, leave it alone for no.
we might have found a source of cold air possibly.
Why? It's warmer in here.
Let's start out with DVP. I also just want to get the 4K and all that ready to see. Over here we have a lower baseline reading than in there. Nothing.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing.
Well, that's a nice thing to have because then you know that any spike.
It's going up.
When I asked you guys to shush, I heard voices.
Quick test. It's us walking. That is not a light switch.
What is it spiking to?
Now it's gone.
It's spiked 2.8.
Wow. 15.7, 15.5. 16.1. And now it's not reading.
It's not reading anything. I don't know what it's setting.
Try again.
Please tell me you heard that. Please tell me you heard that.
I heard a little girl.
Yeah.
I heard that as well.
Didn't we hear a little girl last time?
Yes. I heard her again.
Shh.
Hello?
Okay.
Because I want to do spirit box dimension. We can sit down next to it.
That was a very, very big spike. Over there. The spike's back.
Well, let's get into the spirit box.
Yo.
It reached 1.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, just take a seat.
We're doing spirit box.
Hang on, I'm just going to use this one for sound.
Okay, no aerial, obviously.
You guys heard that, right?
Hello?
Footsteps. But like heels.
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 Okay, well, we're also hearing voices. I think that's the tree. Okay, so I am putting down the EVP.
Spirit box going on.
During our spirit box session, no voices came through. However, we heard noises coming from the front room of the museum that were not captured on our camera's sound.
Are you still here?
Hello? Ending EVP? Are you joking?
Where?
It's past the door.
I thought it was my light, but no, it was like.
It was not your shadow.
Oh no. No, it was white. It's all.
That could be a young girl.
I'm going to do a solo walkabout.
So do you want us to go out? Let's just go out and then we can all go downstairs.
Okay, okay. And they have gone.
Just you and me now.
Okay, lens flare. What was that? Guys? Hello? Yeah, so I was just busy doing a solo walkthrough of the place. Basically started in the kitchen, was walking around. We thought we heard a little girl's voice earlier and we were interacting with her. And as I was walking through, I invited her to walk with me. But then when I got around to the barber's chair section, I was walking down and I said, "You really seem to like this chair." Oh, and before that there was actually like just this weird little like blip in the IR light. I don't know what it was. Like it just suddenly went, like it warped. It was weird. I don't know how to describe it. Like there was a spike in it. But then as I was walking back, some mist or something just crossed past the 4K, and that's when I called you.
Let me see.
Yep, I have vision. I thought you meant the laser grid. I mean the IR.
Oh, that's such a...
Yeah.
Like crying Mona over there with no eye.
Hmm? Huh.
I wonder if that's the picture of the little girl.
Maybe.
What's the baseline reading in there?
It's 12.
I'm
12.9, 13.
Okay, understandable, we're like pretty much underground.
Yeah.
EVP 2, basement of the museum in Matjiesfontein. Is the little girl here with us that was upstairs? You said that we could play with your dolls, but we really don't want to play unless you want to play with us. So, do you feel like you want to play with us?
Can you tell us your name? While we unfortunately did not capture any EVPs in the museum's basement, all 4 of us had strange personal experiences occur.
Yeah.
EVP 3, Spirit Box. I want to say anything earlier, but I thought I felt my hood get pulled. Like it just felt like someone yanking on my hood. You okay?
It looked like something touching me. She likes to play upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You okay, Max?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Now I'm wondering for tonight. So we're starting off at the flour mill.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's our first thing.
There it is.
I'm massively excited for the flower.
Oh, I'm not.
It's
Not listening to the stories. No.
no, like, look, I'm
not getting my expectations up. I'm going in open-minded.
I'm going in open-minded, but based on the stories, I'm a little trepidatious as well as excited.
After the second day. Myself again.
I probably
It was-
definitely am at this
I
place.
think I'm going to be a bit more afraid because I've never been in there before and I
Yeah.
don't know the place.
That's
I'm
another reason why
gonna
I'm
be
nervous.
very afraid from the
'Cause
stories.
Never been there, and we also haven't been in jail.
Yeah, but I also think it'll be interesting because I don't think people go in the flour mill often. So if there is anything there, it's going to be quite a surprise for that entity to suddenly see people who want to interact.
Yeah.
Next to Logan's estate lies the flour mill, a humble building which lies in a strikingly picturesque garden. The flour mill almost went unnoticed by us until we were told a story of a female apparition who can be seen both outside the flour mill and close to the railway station.
There's literally a pitch black cat outside our door that doesn't want to stop meowing.
Yeah.
And it's been meowing since we walked past it under the car.
Yeah. And this is the night that we're going to investigate a place that has a woman in black, which is not reassuring.
No, but why us?
Yeah.
There's many other places here with many other people.
Our last investigation at the flour mill.
Okay, we're locking this out.
You know this cat?
No, I do not know this.
Okay, so should we...
You guys want to swear? This is officially the creepiest place we've ever investigated.
Yeah, for sure. This like,
even takes the cake from iBank.
You've even got like the creepy old furniture with the white sheets over it, and like the shady basement.
Down there.
And the shady upstairs that looks like the Blair Witch Project.
Well, we'll be really careful.
There are holes in the floor up here. You okay?
Okay, it's creepy in here.
Guys.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we'll let you know when we're done.
Sheets, really? What sheets? Really?
Where's the basement? What's down there?
Another room.
I'll check now.
Another room, ew.
Okay, where are we going to set up? Should we do a preliminary check around the place? And then from that sort of decide?
Yeah, where to investigate.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, turning on the EMF. So, RJ, you and I will have to read
No.
the baseline once we're in the basement.
Or we could just do the now.
Or do you want to do it now?
Just do it now.
RJ, let's...
You just want to shine the light down here.
Fuck.
What?
Like the way that everything's laid out here perfectly right next to one another, it looks like morgue beds. An old couch. Oh, I have instant chills. What's through here?
A whole another room, dude.
There's another room.
But there's nowhere to get there.
Wait, maybe it's this way? A room.
There's nowhere to get to.
Wait, maybe it's this way?
14.4.
Is there like another whole part of the house?
14.4. Between 13 and 14 degrees seems to be about
The
average down
average.
in this room.
Is there like another whole part of the house?
Yeah.
Shown here?
There's no door.
What the? Okay, I'm just using the torchlight. I feel like I'm gonna stick my hand in there and something's gonna grab it. Okay, over here we have a baseline of nothing.
Okay, that just went like.
Yeah, that went into the ones.
Just careful of the holes.
It's like 10.9 up here.
There's something back here.
Well, the reader went a little bit crazy.
Yeah, there's another room over here.
Yeah.
There's like a hole in the wall that reveals there's another whole part of the house. There's no door.
It's about between 13.2 and 14.3 in here. Until you start going upstairs, it goes 12, 11, 10.
So it's going cold. It's getting colder.
But what I don't understand is quite a big house, and there's only one section. There's a whole nother section underneath
There's a
us
whole-
here.
Like right underneath us here.
Okay.
11.6.
It's literally this spot.
Let me come do a temperature reading now.
What's it like a degree called? There's nothing. 12.4. That's just like jumped 2 degrees.
Oh my god, all of this. Hold on. All of this is actually bone matter.
And that's why it's crunching so much.
Mice bones. Yeah. Yeah, that's a rat head and mouse head.
Yeah. Can we go back to that reading? Can you try that area again? If you continue going forward, just mind your step. Nothing.
Nothing.
It's right here.
By the floor? Go closer to the floor.
Nothing. I think we found our first static cam.
11.3.
Whatever's here is here. I want a temperature reading. There's no reaction here anymore.
11.
And that's baseline.
Really cold. I actually felt a rush of just like cold breathing. You're getting nothing.
10.5.
Okay.
10.4. 5 now. 10.5.
Okay, well let's...
There's something right here.
There's something here.
My throat's really thick.
Thought I heard humming down there. Once again.
I'm finding it hard to breathe in here.
Where?
Shh.
Bring up. You can follow it shortly afterwards. I just don't want to get any flashlight pollution in here. Hold on. I want to get a purely infrared sweep of everywhere first. The fuck? Sorry, last time was whispering in my ear. Yeah. I'm just trying to... Should we set it up at the back there, shooting? Okay. Also, I need those flashlights out, please. I can't see anything here. Ooh, no, this room is pitch black. I need to adjust this. That one. If you're here, please try and interrupt these light beams. Just show us that you are actually with us.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, the rest of the crew is going downstairs, and it's just Devon and I. But I'm going to turn the light off.
Okay. EVP 1, the abandoned mill, Fontaine. Is there anyone here with us tonight? If that was you that made that noise, can you do it again? Thank you for doing that.
If you want to make a noise, can you do it in 3? Guys,
End of EVP 1?
can you go outside and maybe see if there's anything on the roof?
Like an owl or something.
Right on the top of the roof.
Rolling EVP 2. Megan and Neil have just gone outside to see if there's anything on the roof of the mill that could be making the noises that we're hearing. Could you maybe tell us why there seems to be a lot of unexplained things happening around this beam, like our EMF meter going off and the temperature changing? That was Megan. Anything?
Guys, what was that?
There aren't any owls.
Yeah. There's nothing on the roof.
No, nothing on the roof.
Okay, because there's like walking on the roof.
Yeah.
Solid walking.
Because initially we were like, okay, it's just a bird, and then we heard it again, and I was like, that has to be a big bird.
It's like literally like.
No, there's nothing up there.
And there's like knocking up there, and like occasionally when I like heard it in the beginning, I would shine my light up and do this, and there's nothing.
Yo, guys,
Yeah.
there was something moved out there because I was going first when we stepped out, and you can ask Neil.
Like, I'd just gotten over with Megs, and as we were walking in,
I like backed up and I'm like, what the
was,
something.
like, there was a loud
Do you think we should explore the grounds as well?
With the night vision camera rolling upstairs, the 4 of us ventured outside to once again check the roof and perimeter of the building. That's okay, we're doing a still sweep of the backyard. Cool, I got it.
What was that?
This is Logan's house.
Fun.
Here we go.
Sounded like a clatter from a kitchen. Nothing. Suddenly got chills up my spine. Whoa.
I got quite cold.
I have goosebumps. Second one, we heard going back. I thought like maybe our kit fell or something. Going dark. There are 2 devices in my hands. You can use them to communicate with us. What's your name? Who's here busy banging things around in the house? You, the lady in black. What happened to you here? Feel very cold around my hands. I just felt very cold as well. Like there was this sudden gust went through me. But there was a noise, like as I started doing that, I heard it. Behind you? Yeah.
This thing will let us know that you are here.
Could you explain to us what's been happening?
Over. Putting it away. There we are. Shall we pack up? Cool. Security, we are finished with the flour mill. You can come and lock up, please. Thank you.
I can't see where the lock is. Can you open that? I pulled the thing out. Shit happens. No, this one. Oh. Really? Like? Some weird...
We came up here.
Yeah?
Oh, by the way, Megan said she was feeling that like right until she got about where that arch is.
Yeah.
And she said the minute she passed that arch, she was fine. She could breathe. Like, but we were sitting here. I was sitting sort of facing Megan, and Megan was facing away. First of all, the cat came meow 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 meow, jumped over the wall, and didn't come near us. But you know when the cat's ears go low like that? Its ears were low, and it skulked across the street. Stopped. It was there. Stopped behind this thing and was looking over at the railway like this, and we could hear noises of the railway. And then as I turned my back away, because I wanted to watch the cat, as I turned my back away like this, something got thrown. Something went like right here.
What?
The minute I turned my back, something got thrown at us.
Thank you so much.
And you know what's funny? Is that I just told Neil that what if she left this place and was heading to the railway?
Well, that's what I said to Megan when the cat was staring, like, you know when cats are like worried that someone's gonna hit them or something, and then like, it was staring at the railway, but it kept like doing this and meowing at no one. It's definitely been convincing for me, and funnily enough, more so in the places that aren't as talked about, like the museum, for instance.
You get a little freaked out because it's just this energy that you aren't familiar with, but in general, Matjiesfontein is just it's filled with friendly spirits. There's nothing bad here.
The minute the camera started rolling, we were hearing noises, and I was a complete baby. I was terrified. I didn't want to turn the lights out, nothing. But once you've investigated and you're in the light and it's nice and cozy and warm, you realize like how amazing it is that you actually caught stuff. Like that something's happening that confirms the stories that are being told.
Mikey's Fontaine itself has a lot more stories to tell than what you can read.
Saying, we went in there, we heard it was haunted, this is our evidence that we collected while we were there. We'll decide for ourselves, you decide for yourself.
To say that Mikey's Fontaine exceeded our expectations would be an understatement, not just with regards to the paranormal occurrences. Mikey's Fontaine is a warm and beautiful town, abundant with history and charm, and will forever hold a special place in the heart of the Deadline crew.
With everything we came across fresh in our minds, it is safe to say that Mikey's Fontaine was a fantastic chapter in our story, and this would only mark the beginning of our journey.
The ghost town with Katie and Lucy and all of Shannon. When your hair race and you got butterflies, that's Lucy. She tinkles sound